I'm Lisa, a housewife with a daughter in high school. Though I say housewife, I actually work, so it's more accurate to call me a working mom. I work at my father's company, where I've been given a fairly important role. So, I have many subordinates, and am always mindful of those around me. The employees are all good people, so I've tried to do my best too. One day, my dad started complaining about feeling unwell. He was coughing and having difficulty breathing, so I thought it might be a cold or something. But when we went to the hospital, it turned out not to be a cold. The test results showed that his tumor marker levels were high, and he was immediately referred to a larger hospital. I was totally lost. I wondered, what are tumor markers again, and started researching online. What I found was terrifying. After returning from the major hospital, my dad seemed downcast. It turned out he had lung cancer. He never smoked, and there was no history of cancer in our family, so it was a shock. But I guess diseases can strike even if you're careful. After that, my dad was hospitalized but didn't get any better. He gradually lost weight and became frail. Between visiting my dad and work, I became incredibly busy. My mom had passed away, and I have no siblings. So, it was all on me, but my husband acted as if he couldn't care less. He didn't worry and was always out having fun.
Your dad has cancer, huh? So what? That's not my problem. I won't help.
But I just wish you'd do some chores around the house. I'm tired and busy too.
Huh? Even if you say you're tired, that's your problem. He's your dad, so deal with it. And why would I do chores? I'm a man.
What?
Men have to be strong, not doing housework like women. Men who do chores are weak. You're the family's servant, so just get on with it.
When did my husband become so domineering? I was at my wit's end. My daughter is already 16 and practically an adult, and can do everything on her own, but my husband won't take care of his own needs. I have to prepare everything for him. It's like having a giant baby at home. He's demanding and always complaining, which is utterly exhausting. With my dad's visits, work, and chores, I was on the verge of collapse. But falling apart wasn't an option. Somehow, I managed to keep going with energy drinks and supplements. But age takes its toll, and there's only so much one can handle. I might have been able to do everything if I were younger, but I'm already 46. Then, my dad began to sleep more and more. He barely responded when called, so I knew the end was near. Both the doctors and nurses told us to prepare ourselves. And then, my father passed away. He looked peaceful, as if he were just sleeping. Dad, you worked so hard. You're not in pain anymore, right? You don't have to go through any more painful treatments, so rest in peace. But I wish we could have had more time together. Dad, why did you have to go, Dad? I cried my heart out, unbecoming of my age. My daughter, Eliza, was crying too. In contrast, my husband, who was just standing by, seemed to feel nothing and quickly left to buy a drink from a vending machine. I thought he might have bought something for us as well, but it seems he only bought for himself. It made me realize he's incapable of showing concern for others. After that, my father was cremated. Watching the smoke rise, I truly felt his absence from this world. Then, I officially took over my father's company. It seems everyone is ready to support me fully. Knowing I'm not cut out to be a CEO, I was quite nervous. Starting today, I'll strive to do my best, working together with all of you. I'll make an effort to continue producing great products. The employees all worked hard for my late father. We managed to finish and sell the product he had been developing, which was his dying wish. The sales team was excellent, and our sales kept growing. With the need to produce more, I considered expanding our factory. That's when my husband brought up this conversation.
Hey, now that you've taken over your dad's company, how much are you making? Is it profitable?
A bad feeling washed over me, so I decided to lie on the spot. Actually, it's pretty tough, only about $37,000. That's all we're making. I guess I'm not cut out to be a CEO, and the morale among the employees is low.
Oh, yeah.
We might go bankrupt someday. Hey, I wouldn't know how to face my father then.
Well, you're incompetent, after all, not smart and not good at managing things.
He laughed and went somewhere. Probably to his room to play video games. At his age, he's always playing games. It's fine if he's buying games within his allowance, but I wish he'd help out more around the house. Realizing I couldn't expect anything from him, I just went about my chores, indifferent. My high school daughter helped, and we quickly finished the housework. I wished he would take a lesson from Eliza. His life skills are probably worse than hers. Then, I decided to purchase a vacant lot next to our company for the factory expansion. This used to be the location of a very large mansion. But the owner passed away, and his wife moved into a nursing home. I believe she was over 70. It used to be a grand mansion, but after the wife moved out and into a nursing home, it gradually fell into disrepair. So, despite efforts to sell it, no buyer was found, and the mansion was ultimately demolished. There might have been termite damage, and it seems they decided to try to sell just the land. Well, selling the land alone would still be considered a big win. The land was incredibly vast, enough to easily accommodate the factory we had planned to build. I bought the land promptly and constructed the new factory. The company became busier. Due to a shortage of staff, I thought we needed to increase our workforce. So, we decided to open positions for mid-career professionals and recent graduates. Soon after, applications started pouring in. I'm looking forward to working with you. It's a small company, but we've finally made it this far. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your coworkers or me. Thus, the company grew rapidly. The product my father had been developing started selling well. Every time we sold his dream product, I felt happy. Various contractors came and went at the factory. I became busier and more relied upon. I felt like I was starting to act a bit more like a CEO. One day, as I arrived at the company, my in-laws were there.
Oh, Lisa, you were lying about not making money, weren't you?
Well,
You're actually making enough to build such a big factory. How sly, focusing only on making money.
Right, you told our son. You weren't making much, but you're actually profitable, aren't you? That's why you can afford to build such a grand factory.
well,
Hey, give us some money. We're getting old, struggling with our pension. Give us a little support.
that's,
What are you going to do with all that money anyway? You don't have parents anymore. Think of us as your real parents.
they were being selfish in their demands. Demanding money simply because they wanted it, but that was something I couldn't do. I intended to use the money I earned for my daughter's sake. She is very talented and wants to go to study at a university in Germany. I'm not very good at German, but I've been researching online for her sake. I think the tuition for universities in the US is high, but the fees for private universities in Germany are astronomically higher even compared to that. However, I believed that if I worked hard, I could manage to support her. That's why I've been working so hard, and I can't just give the money to my in-laws.
Why won't you give us some money? Are you just looking out for yourself?
No, that's not it. I want to spend it for my daughter's education, on Eliza's college tuition.
That doesn't matter. Since she's a girl, why not just let her finish with high school?
Exactly. Girls are fine, just finishing high school. Back in the day, they didn't even go to high school, did they? And now you're thinking of sending her to college.
Yes, she wants to go to college in Germany.
Don't make me laugh. What's a girl going to do at a Germany college? I've never heard of such a thing for women.
My Phil was laughing uproariously. I wondered if he had ever heard of Sandra Day O'Connor. Even a long time ago, there were women who pursued higher education, and now it's not rare or unusual at all. If you're good enough, you can go anywhere. I've been working hard for my daughter, so these comments irritated me. If they were so desperate for money, they should figure it out themselves. Both my Phil and Mill are 66, but at our company, we have folks who are even older and still actively working. The oldest one is 76, a whole decade older than them. Though he's older than my dad, this 76-year-old man, called Paul, joined our company mid-career.
All right, I'm coming in.
Wait, please.
Your company deals with platinum, right? Platinum isn't just for jewelry, you know.
Selling that would make a fortune. Now, where could it be?
Please stop, don't come in. My in-laws were attempting to snoop around the factory for what they were after. However, at that moment, they were approached by a man with a scar on his face, looking quite intimidating, and they were visibly frightened.
Hey, what are you doing here? Strangers aren't welcome. This is my sanctuary, you hear?
Yikes, what's with this muscle monster?
Oh my gosh.
Who are you calling a muscle monster? Anyone can see I'm just a human being.
Stay away. Don't come any closer.
You run that way.
I heard you sneaking in to steal. Wait, I'm calling the police on you.
Ah, muscle monster.
Don't come any closer.
Who's a muscle monster? Can't you see these beautiful quads? Side chest.
That commanding voice belonged to Paul, the experienced pro in his 70s I mentioned earlier. The reason my in-laws were so terrified is because, even at his age, Paul is as muscular as a bodybuilder. Whether he wants to show off his muscles or he's just hot, I don't know, but he only wears pants for his work clothes. And always wears a tank top. It's always a very tight one at that. His arms were thick like game character, and his legs were swollen like those of a track cyclist. He always had his teeth whitened, which was somewhat eerie when they gleamed in the dim factory. He didn't look like someone in his 70s at all, and the scar on his face gave him an intimidating air. The scar came from an accident, but my in-laws probably thought he was a dangerous person. Paul isn't some gangster or anything. He just has a hobby of bodybuilding, so he looks tough, but that's all. Add to that, he usually speaks regular English, but every once in a while, he busts out with some dialect. That was quite intimidating.
Move aside. You're in the way. That muscle monster is chasing us.
You're the one in the way.
We made it outside. Phew.
Let's escape.
But that was the moment. My in-laws started screaming.
Oh my God.
What's wrong? Oh.
Approaching them, I saw what had happened. Their heads and faces were covered in pigeon droppings.
Yuck, this is disgusting. It stinks.
Please, help me.
Yes, pigeons had made their home at the entrance of the factory. I don't know why they liked it there, but there were lots of pigeons. That's why I always enter through the back door, not this entrance. Just now, I went around to the back door to come in. I do it because I don't want to get caught or anything. My in-laws, unaware of this, were panicking because of the pigeon droppings. Their heads and faces, and even their shoulders, were white. Watching them with a cold gaze, I couldn't help but think how dirty they looked.
Hey, good job. Thanks a lot.
When Paul said that, a pigeon suddenly flew up. Then, after coos, it pooped on my in-laws again.
It stinks. Help. Do something.
Gosh, I can't see. My glasses.
That's what you get. Anyone who enters here without permission gets no mercy from the pigeons. You try to steal, and this is your punishment.
But still, this is you.
Lisa, help me.
Yes, I called the police a while back, so they should be arriving to pick you up. Maybe they'll lend you some clothes. I don't know though. The police probably don't want to deal with you looking like that.
What? You called the police?
Yes, I called them on the down low while you two were making a scene.
What have you done? It's your fault for not giving us money.
I couldn't understand why I was being blamed. After hearing about my salary from my husband and then seeing our new factory, they probably thought we were raking in the dough. Then they decided they had to get money from me by any means. But there was no way I was going to give in or forgive them. The police arrived quickly, but the officers grimaced at the sight of my in-laws, covered in pigeon droppings.
Ah, we don't want to be taken by the police. We didn't steal anything.
Right. We were the ones scared, threatened, even.
We didn't threaten you. You entered on your own and started shouting. He didn't say anything weird, right, Paul?
Right, those fools were just making a fuss. Complete idiots.
No, don't handcuff me.
First, do something about our clothes.
My in-laws were taken away in the police car, looking filthy. I wonder if they'd be given some clothes later. I wasn't sure about the details, but I imagined the police wouldn't want them smelling during the interrogation. Well, I figured police officers wouldn't appreciate it if it smelled during interrogation, so they might do something about it. I thought to myself, how tough it must be for the cops to deal with such crazy situations.
My mom and dad got arrested because of you. They're being accused of attempted theft.
So what? You were worried about the salary, hoping to rely on the money, right?
Well, that's...
Got something to hide.
My parents lost money in an investment, so we were thinking of how to recover. Then you built that new factory, and it seemed like you were making good money, so they told me to steal from it.
Thank you very much. Incitement, right, I recorded that.
What, you little...
I'll be reporting this. And that's how my husband got taken in by the police as an accomplice. Even though it was just an attempt, I no longer wanted anything to do with such in-laws or a husband. I hoped they would spend the rest of their days in jail. I divorced him afterward. Rumors spread about my ex-husband, making him an outcast at work. But I really wanted him to work somehow, for the sake of our daughter's child support. My ex-husband complained about depression and other issues, but I was the one who felt like I might become depressed while we were married. He also made terrible remarks, so I demanded alimony. Such a person should not be married. And it means he was never qualified to be a parent in the first place. The attempted theft by my ex-in-laws became well known in the neighborhood. And it seems they were seen getting taken to the police, covered in pigeon dropping. What's more, they've been given a laughable nickname because of it. Surely those who witnessed it must have thought there were crazy guys causing a scene. I've already divorced my ex-husband, and now I live with my daughter. She focuses on studying German every day and is attending a German language school. Moving forward, I'll work hard for the growth of the company and to support my daughter's education. I hope to make a greater contribution to the world with the company my late father left behind.